Good afternoon and welcome to the second session of ASFA Trainings program. Thank you for registering and being here. My name is Nuria Cabello and I'm going to talk you about how to implement a successful post-marketing surveillance system compliant with the new medical device regulation. So this is a little agenda of what is covered by this session. We start with the main changes that all of us are facing in the transfer from the directive to the regulation. Afterwards, we are going to see how post-marketing surveillance system should be organized and how this should be described in a PMS plan. Then we are going to give you some tips and examples of activities that could help you to be compliant with the regulation. And finally, we will have a few minutes to attend questions of the audience. So let's start with the webinar. As many of you may already know, all medical devices directives have changed to be regulations, and all manufacturers and notified bodies should be prepared for these changes. This change was to come in force on May this year. However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, the European Commission has postponed a year the total implementation of the medical device regulation. We are not going to go through each article and what is described in it. We only should have in mind that this change from directive to regulation has been made in order to change the approach of the vigilance system, switching from a reactive and dispersed set of activities to a more proactive and planned system of actions. Article 83 establishes that we must have implemented within the quality system a post-marketing surveillance system that must ensure the collection, management, and analysis of the post-marketing information in order to use it by means of update, the benefit risk, the instruction for use of the product, the clinical evaluation of the product, the summary safety and clinical performance, the identification of needs of any corrective action, and to detect and report any trend. All of this should be described in a PMS plan for each medical device according to risk established. So each PMS plan should cover and define the proactive and systematic processes to collect and assess data gathered, indicators and thresholds to be used in the continuous benefit risk assessment, methods and tools to investigate complaints and analyze market-related experience, methods and protocols to manage the events to analyze trends, methods and tools to effectively communicate to authorities and notified bodies, methods and tools to identify any field safety corrective action, how these activities will contribute to the definition of post-marketing clinical follow-up plan, and how this information may be amended by the results of the activities. And in addition, in the PMS plan should be defined also how PMS reports and or PSURs are going to be managed, which frequency will be the best, and which departments of the company are going to be involved in the preparation of such documents. All of these activities defined in the PMS plan should be put in place in order to gather safety information from post-marketing experience. This information is defined by the regulation as the information that can be retrieved from the following sources: for the incidents and any undesirable side effect, information included in the field safety corrective actions, trend reporting, results issued in PSURs and PMS reports, relevant specialist or technical literature, database and/or registers, feedbacks provided by customers, complaints provided by customers, distributors, and publicly available information about similar devices. Okay, so now we all know what we need to have in our company. But how can we know if the system that is already in place is compliant or not with the new regulation? The first thing to do is perform an audit or gap analysis to the system in order to know what is the current status of the post-marketing surveillance and vigilance system of our company. After reviewing the current status, some actions can be proposed in order to get ready our system for the regulation. Our main approach here in Asphalion is to prepare an SOP in which the PMS system is described, as well as how it's going to be implemented, maintained, and updated. In this SOP, the PMS activities can be described each one, or we can generate additional SOPs per activity. Then a PMS plan will be generated per product, defining the activities that should be done per this product in particular. This slide summarizes our proposal of activities that should cover the requirements of the regulation. As stated before, each one of the activities can be detailed inside the PMS system SOP, or maybe it's better to have an SOP per activity. Regarding vigilance, no additional activities seem to be included in the new regulation. However, it is important to have in place a good system to collect any incident related to our products. So it is important to define very well how we are going to receive this information, register it, and evaluate the incident. Regarding the submission, it is important to know to which authorities we need to submit our incidents and if there is any official form from the local ones. It is good also to establish reconciliation activities with our partners in order to assure that we are not missing any safety information. This reconciliation activity should be done also for complaints. And in order to get the most information available, we recommend also to have implemented a system of follow-ups with the reporters. As you may all know, with the non-serious incidents that shouldn't be submitted to the authorities, the company should perform a trend analysis. The most important point regarding trend analysis is that the PMS system should describe how manufacturer calculates and establishes the threshold from which it is defined that there is a trend and should be notified to the authorities and consumers. In our SOP, we should define the frequency to perform the trend analysis, and in case that we have detected a trend, how it is going to be communicated to the authorities. Regarding field safety corrective actions and emission of field safety notes, it is recommended to have an SOP which describes how it is triggered this type of actions and which departments are involved in the preparation and distribution. So all previously mentioned was regarding vigilance, and most of the manufacturers have some procedures regarding these activities, since they were already required by the directive. However, the regulation has a post-marketing surveillance section in which defines additional safety information from other sources that should be gathered and analyzed. One of these sources is the information published in technical literature. So, according to the risk of our product, we can define a search query in order to retrieve this information easily. We should also decide in which databases we are going to screen. And finally, we could establish also different frequencies according to risk or according to the amount of results to be screened, to be reviewed. Other source of information that we could gather is from feedback given by customers and users. For sure, your organization already have in place a procedure for which a customer satisfaction survey is distributed regularly. This procedure can be used to include some safety questions in order to retrieve safety information regarding the product. So, you could ask to the responsible department to review these questionnaires and include the questions if they are not already in. Other sources of information are the complaints. So if your company doesn't have already an SOP, it is recommended to have one procedure of complaints management in which it should be described how a complaint is evaluated to detect any safety information and how this safety information is sent to the safety department in order to include it in the safety evaluation of the PMS. Remember that, as I said before, it is important to perform a reconciliation of complaints and also of customer surveys in order to not to miss any safety information that we could retrieve. And last but not least, the last source of information is the one publicly accessible for similar devices. To collect this kind of information, we propose to check the safety alerts published by national competent authorities in their websites. And of course, describe this activity in an SOP. It is important to select at least the authorities in which we are marketing our products. Establishing a frequency of screening according to risk. And in addition, we could include other authorities that we may know that have many products like our product. This link is very useful. So this link is from the International Medical Device Regulators Forum. It's very useful. So in it, there are listed all websites where the national competent authorities publish their safety alerts on medical devices. And the last activity included in the new regulation is the safety reports. So in the PMS system and plan, it should be described how are we going to manage the safety reports that the regulation requires according to the classification of our products. So in our SOP of management of the reports, we should describe how are we going to plan the creation and submission of the reports. In addition, the PMS plan should describe also which information will be used in these reports. So, a schedule of reports should be done and distributed to all departments involved in the generation of the report. Every department and partner should know which information should provide to manufacturer and in which timelines they should send the information requested. Finally, it is important to take into account that many of this information should be provided by distributors. So it is important to review the current distribution agreements in order to check if the information is exchanged timely between manufacturer and partner, and also that all the information that we need is listed is within the scope of the distribution agreement. This is the same slide that at the beginning. These are all the activities that should be done in order to be compliant with the new regulation that is coming. The best scenario is an SOP for each activity, and all the staff involved should be trained on these SOPs. For sure, other approaches are okay. They depend on the safety profile of the products marketed and the resources that companies have. Okay, so this is it. Thank you for your attention, and now we will have a few minutes to answer questions that you may have. Okay, first question is if it would be possible to receive the presentation. Yes. I think we are not going to send directly to the people, but we are going to upload the presentation in our YouTube channel. So in a few days, you will receive an email with a link with the presentation uploaded in the YouTube. Okay, more questions. I think we have some questions here. Is there any place to find templates of the diverse documents? For now, currently, there are only an official template for the summary of safety clinical performance. It is planned to release a PSUR template, but we don't have any date for this release. So and for the other documents, PMS plan, PMS report, there are no templates, no planning to release any template for the authorities. Other question is, what is the frequency of updating the PMS plan? I think in the regulation there is no frequency, okay? It is mentioned that it should be according to the risk of the product. So you should do a study about your products and establish some frequency. Maybe you could align this frequency with PCRs and PMS reports to do any update. How much effort of people is needed to conduct literature searches for PMS? Again, it's according to the risk of the product and the narrow that you want to do these searches. There is no, in the regulation, there is no frequency established for these searches, so you could justify any frequency. For some clients we do annually, for others we do quarterly. So, but if you justify enough, you could do the frequency that you want. What are the protocols for product recall? Regarding safety, I think there is not in our scope. Only maybe you should have an SOP that of communication of the departments, how safety department should inform to regulatory department to trigger a recall of the product, but I'm not an expert in this field. Another question is, has the deadline been postponed? I think that last week or yes, I think last week the European Commission published the new deadline to be compliant with the regulation, and is I think is 1 year from May 22nd of May. I think it is. So we have 1 year to work more. Okay. Another question is for class 1 devices. It is only necessary to do a PMS report. Is it not necessary to do a PCR? Yes, for class 1 devices, according to regulation, it is only mandatory to do a PMS report, which frequency is established by manufacturer according to the risk of the product. Okay. I think I didn't miss any. Okay, so if there are no more questions, thank you very much for your attention. To finish the session, please remember all the webinars that are scheduled for this month. Every Thursday, today is Tuesday, but every Thursday from now, a new webinar will be transmitted. and a few days later it will be available in our YouTube channel. So you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? Okay, so thanks again and hope to see you in future sessions. Have a nice day.